Okay, okay. Let's talk about this. I've been a bit of a theme and some stuff's been running in my head. So let's just talk about not necessarily marriage, but relationships. Okay, why marriages fail. Okay, this is a thing plaguing America, and why it's plaguing America is that okay. Now I can't speak about every marriage and every relationship, but generally, why America has such a high divorce rate is because people take the the not necessarily the relationship for granted. It's the assumption that relationships are easy. Maybe it's because we surround ourselves by easiness and conveniency that we think relationships will be easy too. And even in our stories, we have easy relationships. We fall in love. We live happily ever after. We have struggles, and then the struggles kind of end, you know. And but that's not life. Life is not, the struggles happen and they end. Struggle is every day. That's life. And the thing is, people assume that relationships are going to be this easy thing. You click or you find your niche. It's a thing that forms, and you're in sync, and you're give and take. You know each other's, you know, thought patterns. You know your routine. You know the person you're dealing with. That is wrong. You do not know that person unless you know them for years. In here, in you know, in their house, in their room, in their private places, where they sleep, where they eat, where they, you know, do their jobs, have their business, whatever. It's when you live with that every day and can live and live in sequent in symbiosis or whatever. When you live in sync with that and complement that and everything else, then you know someone. Because there's a difference between me in here and me out there. It's a subtle difference, but there is a difference. In here, my hair can be all messy. I don't care. It's just me in here. Out there, you gotta have your hair straight. You gotta put your best foot forward. Stand up straight. Talk like a regular person. Make sense. Do all this stuff because that's what you are when you're out there. When you're in here, you're different. That's why people kept thinking, it's like, well, when we came home, all of a sudden he became, this different person. It's like, yes, because when you're not out there, you're a different person. And people in the 50s and 60s kind of figured that out. It's like, yeah, that's what happens. Unless your house, party planners or whatever, your house people who bring in, have a house parties, you're really not going to care, how you look or what your place looks like, when you're indoors. And that's what the problem is that everyone keeps thinking the synchronicity is just going to just click, and everyone just kind of scratches their head. It's like, why is this not working? It's like, because the relationship is suffering for numerous reasons. And of course, there are as many reasons for a relationship to fail, and there are like stars in the sky. But people don't seem to think that it could just work itself out easy. It's not going to be easy. Nothing is easy. A relationship is the most difficult thing there is. Having an emotional response is the easiest thing in the world. It is. The harder thing is to retain and control that emotional response. People think, in their teens and in their early 20s, or in their 20s, they think, we get along pretty good. We didn't really have these problems before. What changed? Your hormone levels changed, you dinks. Because people keep thinking, it's like, well, this person was, not annoying to me before. He didn't change. It's just I find these things annoying now. It's like, what, because he didn't grow up? He still acts like, a little immature or a little childish, or maybe not even that. Maybe his ticks, maybe his little nuances are a bit annoying. It's like, well, yeah, it's because you don't let things go as much as you did. When you're a child, your attention span is 15 minutes. If you were hurt or happy or angry or sad, you forget about it 15 minutes later. Then when you're in your teens, you kind of retain that a little bit more. You're angrier longer. You're upset more. You're happier more. These stuff retrains. Then you get in your 20s and then in your 30s, you're thinking like, that didn't really annoy me before, but now it does. It's because you don't let it go as much as you did. Your attention span is a lot more. You can, you could get through the day, and have him say the same corny joke he told in his 20s. Then in his 30s, it's like, oh, really? That is so lowbrow. And it's because also your hormone levels have changed. You are not, sexually active as you were. So is the happiness you felt, in your teens and in your 20s isn't there anymore because you're not that sexually active, either of you. And when those people kept thinking, well, I can't, comprehend why, it's because you're getting older. And maybe you two didn't really live together as long, or develop the relationship long enough before you say, now let's handcuff ourselves together in that timeless tradition of marriage because we think we're developed enough in this relationship to live together. And that's the hardest part. One of the more major contributors to divorce is people think, and then we'll just synchronize because I like her. Yeah, I like a lot of people too. Doesn't mean it's the basis for a relationship to just us live together. Of course not. That's just jumping the gun. And then they wonder why later that they hate each other. It's because you didn't form the relationship. Then you're clashing head on because it's like, well, I want my space, I want this, I want it quiet, but I want to play the drums. People think relationships are going to be easy, that they're going to just go their way. Like it's one of the few things in the world that's just going to go their way. And that's the great lie and deception, is that nothing ever goes your way. Do you think things go my way? Do you think my life was easy? No, of course not. It was struggle. It's hard. And I don't even have a girlfriend. My life is just difficult. But people think, oh, I just, get this other person in my life and they're going to help me out and it's going to be easy. See, if that person is synchronized with you, then it's going to be easy. Not just because that person's just in your life. And that's the hard part, that everyone thinks it's so easy, that they don't really have to communicate, is that it's just going to, it's just going to just work itself out. Not too much effort has to be put in. You have to put in so much effort into a relationship in order to make it to work, for it to be vaguely streamlined. If you click and you know that person very well and you're very uncomplicated, then your life is probably going to be a lot easier. I don't say easy, I just say easier. Excuse me. Right throat or something, I don't know. Maybe drink more water. But anyway, that's the thing, is that you gotta communicate all your thoughts and feelings. You have to dump it all out. You have to sit down and just say, I'm not happy, haven't been happy for a while. And instead of getting divorced and destroying this family, why don't we just all sit down, talk about our lives, and talk about our feelings. Have a family intervention with everybody. Everybody's brought in. Everyone tells about their feelings. And even if you don't want to do that, or if you get an emotional need to leave the room, don't. You tie yourself down to that chair and you say, this is how relationships are salvaged. Through pain and agony of emotion. Because you are committed to this because you love these people. You found something in them to love and to hold on to, and that's worth fighting for. It means you have to fight yourself because there's no greater opponent than yourself. That's a video for another day, but basically, yes. You have to put yourself aside and stop saying you're the victim of this and say, what can I do to help this relationship? And you have to remember there's give and take on both sides. Both of you have to work this out. And mothers, for the love of God, make sure your child is suffering before you walk in and say, now don't go blaming yourself. Because maybe, just maybe, that just ain't the case. Because I've seen that sometimes, and it's just like, the child could have absolutely nothing to do with this. And it's pretty sure that they're mature enough to realize I'm just a factor in a sea of problems here, people. Of the problems you guys have, I'm just a factor. I'm that tree in the background. I'm window dressing. I'm just a thing that happens to be here in the midst of this little drama you guys are in. It's like, I'm not the cause. He's gonna say, I'm not the cause. So be aware of what people think and say before, before you assume you know something. Just sit people down. Talk to them. How do they feel? I'm pretty sure they're going to not want this divorce. I'm pretty sure they're going to be cheerleading for you two to get back together. In most cases, depending on the situation and stuff. I know. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to umbrella this as much as I can. Okay, now the thing is that it's going to take more than one sit down to fix relationships. You have to learn to commit to this. That's going to be probably one of the more harder things you've done in your life. And you probably think it's going to be just simple just to, knock over the chessboard and start over again. Again, I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for our behalf stuff or whatever, all the relationships in the world. But I can tell you this. Don't ever give up without a fight. You try hard, you dig down deep. I don't know what else more to say. Just live with a person for a while. See what they're like in here. If you're going to marry somebody someday, see what they're like on Saturday mornings. I hear women say, well, I when I wake up in the morning I have bad hair, I look horrible. And it's like, if you wake up and see that person when they get out of bed, and they do have bad hair, and they're not wearing makeup, and you still feel like you just want to take them back to bed, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to have an okay, that you still accept this person without the glitz and glamour, that this person is someone you truly find beautiful naturally, without, the preparations and stuff. There's no try, there just is. That's, what I'm going for here. She doesn't try to be beautiful, she just is beautiful. A natural character, where it's like, well, everyone loves her because she's just such a wonderful person. Those aspects. You don't try to be a good person, you just are a good person. I'll leave this at 15 minutes. So, that's the thing. Is that relationships are hard. Emotions are easy. So with that, my fair, faithful viewer, I'll leave you with that. But yeah, I'm going to try to heed my own advice when I ever eventually get into a relationship. When and if ever that happens. So, good night and good luck. Bye.